This is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with another edition of Cooking with Janet. Now, you know I always like to find new and interesting things for you to experiment in your own kitchens, and of course I'm always experimenting in mine and creating new recipes for you. The latest thing that I am working on is a black bean brownie recipe. Now hopefully you have tried my garbanzo bean brownie recipe, which is absolutely delicious, and I found a mix at a store that was gluten-free and had black beans in it, and I tried it. I like that even better than my garbanzo. It's a little moister, but I like using the garbanzos because of course they are, or the chickpea, which is a legume, and it is it's very good for you. It has all your amino acids in it. So with that said, I put together something and we're going to see how it turns out. We need to use the food processor rather than a blender, but a blender will do if you have to, but if you have a food processor, that would be great. You're going to use this blade. And I also want to tell you that I just had a friend who purchased a Black & Decker food processor, very similar to mine, on sale for only $35. And she told me she's using it every day and she absolutely loves it. So if you don't have a food processor and you've been thinking about it, there may be some end of summer sales going on that should help you get exactly what you need. Now in here I have 3 cups of black beans. Put those in. Now the recipe that I've been playing with said you could use any kind of beans, but I'm using the black bean, but you could try anything else if you have something else in your cupboard. 1 cup of coconut crystal. Actually, I'm going to wait on this. I'm going to put in the liquid first. Let's go with our 4 organic eggs. Let's put that in there. And I have a half a cup of olive oil. I'm going to put that in first because I want to get this all mushed up. So, here we go. Getting nice and smooth. Yep, a little bit more. Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, the batter looks really nice so far. So I have a little bit of olive oil left. I want to be sure and get that in there because that will make it nice and moist. I have 3 teaspoons of aluminum-free baking powder. That's going in. I have 1 cup of coconut crystals, very low on the glycemic index. And I have 1 cup of raw cacao powder. And as you know, that's extremely good for you and healthy, just like the rest of this. And let's blend this all together. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put also a dab of sea salt. Not a lot, just enough. Maybe this is a very good quality one. Not quite half a teaspoon. There we go. Look and see how it's doing. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that nice batter. I'm going to do just a hair more and we'll be set. Good to go. Now I want you to see how beautiful, thick, and rich this is. I'm going to put this in a 9 by 12 pan, and we will bake it at 350 for approximately, I'm going to say 20 to 30 minutes is where we're going to start. Again, it depends on the temperature of your oven. But you know, it's so much fun to create food that is healthy for you. healthy doesn't have to mean awful. And sweet doesn't have to mean bad for you, because your body does need a certain amount of carbohydrates, which of course turn into sugar in your body. It's really wonderful to cook healthy, nutritious foods that feed your body. It feeds your mind, because digestion begins in the mind when you first see something. It's full fat. It's very tasty for the taste buds. You need fat for your brain. You need fat for your nervous system. You need fat to maintain the cellular integrity of your cell walls. So fat is extremely important, and if you're denying yourself fat, then you are denying yourself the richness of your life. And I'm going to let you in on a secret, because I am going to be announcing very, very soon, maybe by the time you watch this, a new, very special autumn sale about creating your ideal weight. So you watch for that on the website, because we did something with removing financial blocks. People had incredible success with that, and that inspired me to put together a new package for you, because we're leaving the end of summer right now and we're moving into fall, which means new foods, new ways of caring for your body, at least for those of us here in the northern hemisphere. I'm just going to spread that out. Look at what incredibly rich, and what have I got in there? A lump of sugar. Just take that guy out for now. Actually, just spread it in. There we go. I'm going to work with what we've got. Oh, it feels like another one in there. Yep. So, as we move into autumn, you are going to be needing different foods for your body, and depending on your body type and your weight, some of you may think you're too heavy, and some of you may feel you are too thin. And while in this society it seems like being too thin is less of an issue, but as I've told you before, being thin is not necessarily healthy. So we want to find the ideal weight for you based upon your mind pattern and your body type. So I've got a really wonderful package that I'm putting together, and that will be announced on the website soon. Okay, here we go. So we've got this in our pan. I have my oven preheated at 350. It's going to go in, and I'm going to bake it for approximately, I'll check it about 20 minutes, somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on the temperature of your own oven. And then we'll see how these delicious looking brownies turn out. So I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, I think this is done. It's been in about 22 minutes. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, out it comes. And you can see it really turned out beautiful. Now we're going to cut it into slices. You can feel it's very thick and rich. And I think I'm going to be topping it with some whipped cream when I serve it, because I think that would be really nice. And again, if you're one person, you can make them and put them in your freezer and do that immediately after they have cooled, because that is what will keep them tasting fresh when you want to eat them. So don't wait until you're almost done and think, oh, I should freeze them. Do it right away. No one would ever guess that these have a base of beans. Extremely low carb. So I have cut 6 by 8, that means we have 48 brownies, and let's take a look. Might be a little crumbly. When they're first hot, things are usually a little bit more on the crumbly side. Let's take a look. There we go. There's 3. You can see they're still steaming hot. But look how nice that texture is. You see, you would never know that that was black beans. A little whipped cream on top, and you are good to go. All right. Okay, now moving right along, I'm going to show you the next thing I'm going to do, which is pumpkin bread. I talked to you before about how to fix a pumpkin in your oven and how to use the Foley mill to make it nice and smooth. And what I did was when I took mine out of the freezer, it had a little bit of water in it. There's still a little bit more settling out. I don't know if you can see that in the bowl or not. But what I did was I drained it on some cheesecloth. I put a strainer out, I put some kitchen cheesecloth underneath it, and I let it drain to make it a little bit more firm. So anyway, it's not quite fall in Michigan, but almost pumpkins will be out, and you too can make your own pumpkin. Right, so I'm starting with the mix I've been teaching you about, which is the almond meal and the buckwheat, which is the herb rather than a grain. So that goes in first. 3½ cups total. I have half of it is in my almond meal and half of it is in the buckwheat flour. Now, one of the reasons I'm showing you some of these cake type things is so that you can understand how you can substitute and make your own favorite recipes. They're going to taste a little bit different, but they're still going to be really delicious and good for you. So, usually what I do is I add or increase the leavening. So, this recipe has 3 teaspoons of baking soda in it, which is the leavening. And I added a tablespoon of organic cinnamon. I have a cup of the coconut crystals for sugar. Put all my dry ingredients in here first. Then I'm going to stir in. Now I have a cup of olive oil and I have 2/3 cup of unsweetened coconut milk. Now, again, what you can do is someone wrote in and talked about the health of olive oil, saying it wasn't so good for you. Well, you know, that changes all the time. A long time ago, they used to say how good olive oil was for you and how it didn't change through high heat. But then coconut oil wasn't the big thing, it was olive oil. So however they want to divert your attention, they will. So it's up to you to choose what you want to believe. I don't have any issue with the coconut oil. I like to work with olive oil, but you can do either. Or you could use butter if you like. And then for my liquid, I have 2/3 of a cup of the unsweetened coconut milk. You can do any liquid that you want for that. You can do almond milk, you can do water, you can do buttermilk, you can do whey. And again, you can kind of play with these recipes. And the idea is not to be afraid of substitution. Think about what works for you, what you already have in your cabinet. You don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of things. There's a few things you might want to change around. For instance, make sure you have aluminum-free baking powder, aluminum-free baking soda. But you don't have to make a lot of changes in what you already have, because nothing, in my opinion, is more discouraging than buying a bunch of things and then not being able to use it again. It's kind of a waste. I have 4 organic eggs. It was Elkie speaking to us, my Norwegian elk hound. And so let's get those stirred in. And again, if you want to do vegan, you don't have to put eggs in there. You can use something else. You can add a little bit more oil if you want. Because you want to think about the consistency. You might want to substitute a little bit more pumpkin, or you can put in some applesauce. Use your imagination. What could kind of substitute for this or that? All right, and into that, then I'm mixing 2 cups of my pumpkin. As easy as that. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to put in just a touch of sea salt. Not a lot, maybe around 1/4 to 3/8 of a teaspoon. Very little, just enough so the recipe won't taste flat. And again, the pumpkin is very low carb. It has a nice flavor. And if you want, you can also add some xanthan gum. And that will help. That was a tip that came in from one of the readers. I had it, but I'd never used it before. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Today I'm not going to, but you could add probably somewhere around a teaspoon. Busy day in the Swerdlow household. Add either a teaspoon and a half of xanthan gum, and then you just pour it into your loaf pans. Remember, I showed you before how to line it with wax paper, which makes it very easy then to pull your loaf out after it comes out of the oven. You do want to be gentle with it because these kind of flours, or I call them flours, they are a little bit more delicate, and so it's up to you. I'm pretty careful, and I've done it a lot, so my loaves, generally they don't break, but again, you know, if they do, it's not the end of the world. I try and teach you to be flexible in your cooking, flexible in the way that you think, flexible in the ingredients that you use, how you receive it in your body. And again, I'm not a professional chef. I don't pretend to be a professional chef, nor do I want to be a professional chef. I'm just someone who enjoys eating healthy and feeding my family healthy. That's Buddy. And I enjoy expressing some of my creativity in the kitchen. So, again, anybody can do it, but don't be hard on yourself. It is what it is. And some days you win, some days it's not as good, but usually it's edible. Alright, this is going to go in the oven for 350, at 350, and then I'm going to check it in about 30 minutes to see how it's coming along. So I'm going to set my timer, and then we will check it together in just a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and check this one. The other one I took out a little earlier because it was done. Oh, this one's perfect. I'll put it up here. And you can see we've been sampling the first one because it was so good. But first I want to remind you again how easy this comes out of the pan with the wax paper. So I'll move this one over here. And now watch how nice this cuts. This is without the xanthan gum. Okay, see? And it's really beautiful. You can serve that with whipped cream or berries or anything else that you would like to add. So there you have it, another wonderful recipe from Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, expansions.com. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.